Welcome to a peaceful and tranquil Spain for this week's edition of the Weekend in Triathlon. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get stuck into this week's news. As I've mentioned before, Ironman is presenting two events in China this year, courtesy of the new consortium that's just bought out the corporation. And both of those events, as I mentioned, will be carrying full Kona qualification slots for the 2017 Ironman World Championship. The new piece of news out of the Ironman is that Crowie will be racing in both of those two Chinese events. They've contracted him in for that. The second of the two events, he's going to be racing the rest of the pro field in the normal way that he does in all of his other races. But the first event of the two events, he's going to be anchoring a relay team. And when I first saw this, I was thinking about some other type of corporate relay teams that I've seen involving pro athletes that are in aid of some or other charity, where your corporate types will be able to bid to be able to race with the pro, and that money goes straight to charity. By the looks of things, this is something similar in line, except that the money goes to the Ironman Corporation. Go figure. But anyway, that's the situation. The big news out of Ironman is that Crowie is racing both Chinese events, and the first of which is a relay team, and which means that you out there have the opportunity, if you can bid high enough, to be able to race in a relay team alongside five-time world champion Craig Alexander. While on the subject of Ironman, the Ironman have announced their 100 brand loyal athletes on the legacy program that will be able to compete in Kona this year. That's it. If you've competed 12 full Ironmans, you have the option to be able to enroll in the legacy program and get your name drawn out of a hat to be able to, or they say it's not drawn out of a hat because that would be their illegal lottery system that they had going just a couple of years ago. But if you've done more than 12 Ironmans, you can put your name forward for the selection process to be one of the 100 athletes every year selected without qualifying to be able to race Kona. And the news out of Ironman is that the 100 athletes for this year's Kona have just been announced. So if you head over to Ironman.com, you'll be able to see if your name is on the list. Last week in the world of Ironman, there was the Mululaba triathlon, Mululaba triathlon, but that's an ITU event that's owned by Ironman, so I'll be covering the results of that World Cup event when I get down to the Ironman results later on in this program. However, as far as this coming weekend is concerned, on Sunday the 20th of March we have 3 Ironman branded events, the first of which is going to be a 70.3 that will be taking place in Puerto Rico. The second of which is a 5150 event, the Super Seal, and that's going to be in Coronado, and that's in California, USA. And the third one is a 70.3 event that's due to be taking place in Monterrey, Mexico. That brings us to the end of the Ironman news for this week. Now onto the world of the Challenge family. No news snippets out of the Challenge family headquarters this week. No events that took place last week. However, the one item that we've got of significance coming forward is that on Sunday, the 20th of March, there's going to be a half challenge, and that's the first edition of the half challenge Amazonia, and that's taking place in Brazil. Now onto the world of Xterra, and we have a snippet of news out of the world of Xterra. Xterra Korea have confirmed its race date, and Xterra Korea will be taking place on the 27th of August 2016. But it's also worth noting that Xterra Korea this year will have 0 pro prize money. So Xterra Korea 2016, 0 pro prize money. So I'm making the vast assumption that we'll be seeing no pro athletes taking part in that event because there will be no payday available for them. As far as a catch-up of results gone past, 2 weeks ago there was the Xterra Motatapu, New Zealand. There were no results available last week, but now we've got the results through for you. Julia Grant of New Zealand picked up the ladies' title, and Ollie Shaw of New Zealand picked up the men's. Then last week Saturday, on the 12th of March, there was Xterra Saipan. Karina Vassell picked up the ladies' title, while Brodie Gardner of Australia picked up the men's. A look ahead to this coming weekend, and we've got Sunday the 20th of March, popular date, that Sunday the 20th of March, will be Xterra, Costa Rica, and look forward to next week when I'll be able to bring you some updates and results as far as that race is concerned. Finally, we move on to the world of the ITU, and news out of Nicola Spirig's Twitter account is that, excuse my itchy back over here. News from Nicola Spirig is, if you recall, she broke her hand last week at the Abu Dhabi World Triathlon Series race, and she's tweeted that her surgery was successful. She's had 3 plates and 20 screws put into her left hand, and she's already back in training, and even tweeted a picture of her on a spin bike with the bandaged up left hand, but still getting some training in on the bike, spinning out the legs to be able to make sure she maintains some degree of cardiovascular fitness through her recovery, because she's still got a focus on defending her gold medal at the Rio Olympic Games this year. Last weekend in the world of the ITU, there was on Saturday the 12th of March, there were 3 events that took place. There was an American Triathlon Cup in La Paz, Mexico, and Adriana Isora Carreno of Mexico and David Mendoza of Mexico picked up the ladies' and men's titles respectively. Then in Bloemfontein, South Africa, there was the African Junior Triathlon Championship, and you had Maudelaine Leroux of South Africa picking up the ladies' title, while Ben Delaporte, also of South Africa, he picked up the men's title. After last week's World Triathlon Series opener in Abu Dhabi, this week it was the turn of the World Cup that took place in Mooloolaba, Australia. The ladies' race was won by Abu Dhabi champion Jodie Stimson, while the men's title was picked up also by the Abu Dhabi champion Mario Mola of Spain. Then moving on to this coming weekend, and we have 3 events set to be taking place this coming weekend. First up, there's the Oceania Triathlon Championship that's going to be taking place in Gisborne, New Zealand. Then the second item will be the South American Triathlon Championship, and that's in Valparaiso, Chile. And the final event of this coming weekend will be the African Triathlon Championships, and that's set for Buffalo City, South Africa. That brings us to the end of this week's edition of the Week in Triathlon. Be sure to share this out amongst all your triathlon friends. Remember, post any comments, questions, criticisms you have in the comment section down below. Thumbs up if you like the content, and remember, down below is a subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel to stay in touch with all the new content that comes out to you daily, 7 days a week. Remember, every Friday is a Week in Triathlon, and every single other day of the week there will be either an athlete question answered or some other topical news piece coming out of the world of triathlon or the world of distance running. So until we meet again for another episode next week Friday for another episode, or any other day of the week for your athletes' questions answered, remember to stay carved up for the win, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Coach Eddie.